G'day there guys, it's your main man Markee, and welcome back to another episode of r/Am I the Arsehole? Let's go. Am I the asshole for telling my girlfriend she ruined my night by insisting she comes along? My girlfriend and I, both 20 female, have been dating for a year. My girlfriend Jane and I have separate friend groups. Jane doesn't get along with my friends, yet insists that she is brought along to our nights out and in. It is incredibly uncomfortable because, whilst she's also a woman, these get-togethers are no partner-allowed parties. Plus, she doesn't get along with anyone, so it's super awkward. I was invited out to one of their parties, and Jane got upset that I'm going without her. I'll be gone from 10 AM Friday to afternoon on Saturday. She has no issue with both of us going, but without her, it is an issue. I said I'd leave later and try to get back earlier, but she wouldn't have it either. I ended up bringing her along, and it was a nightmare. The mood was brought down, and no one really had fun, as all my friends seemed to be walking on eggshells around her. When we got back, she kept gloating about how much fun she had, but I felt the opposite. I said, "Well, I'm glad someone had fun." She got upset and asked what I meant. I explained that it was a friend night in, and she wasn't invited. She got super upset and pulled some crap about how it's toxic that I want to have a night out without her. She says she's hurt that I, 1, didn't want her there, and 2, that I said she ruined the night. I just wanted to spend some time with friends one-on-one. Am I the asshole? And edit clarification. 1, I mentioned Jane's gender because usually on posts like these, the no partner rule is because the partners are of opposite sex, so it's a safe space for people to talk. Guys' night or girls' night. I brought up that she's a woman because all my friends have male partners, but it's still a no partners night despite the gender. 2, I am a female, Jane is female. I am bi, Jane is lesbian. 3, all my friends are female. 4, the party was a birthday celebration, which is why it was over 2 days. They usually are not that long. Now in the comments, info. Why are you dating someone who no one seems to like, you included? And OP says, I love my girlfriend, I'm just sick of her double standard. I'm not allowed to join her on her nights out with her friends. She could have chilled in our apartment like I do when she goes out. Sometimes love is not enough. If she is shutting you out from her nights, but demands to join yours, and even ruins them, that does not seem like a healthy relationship worth having. You are going to end up losing all your friends if you keep this up. Yeah, girlfriend sounds toxic. She's allowed nights out with her friends, but OP must take her everywhere with her. I'd suffocate in a relationship like that. Not the asshole, but if your girlfriend sounds a little controlling, it's also pretty red flaggy that your friends don't like her. This may be a relationship you might want to rethink. You know, when I was younger, I also used to think that it was a red flag if I was dating someone who my friends didn't like, and I even ended things with people that I genuinely liked because of it. I figured they must be seeing something I'm not seeing. Basically, I didn't trust myself. As I've gotten older, I've come to regret that kind of thinking, because who knows what kind of relationships could have developed if I let it. In the end, I did enter into a committed relationship with someone who my friends did like. Only, he turned out to be abusive and isolated me from my friends. So now my attitude is that I'm dating someone to make me happy, not to make my friends happy. Of course, I'll listen to my friends' valid concerns, but making my friends happy is not my top priority in my romantic relationships. That said, I do think OP's girlfriend's controlling and jealous behavior is definitely a red flag. I think close and trusted friends disliking a partner is certainly food for thought, i.e. a red flag, but not necessarily one to act like it's a deal breaker, rather one to think over in the wider context of the relationship. You don't need to immediately break up with someone because your friends don't like them, but the issue is worth looking into, like asking your friends why they don't like your partner, with examples, then try to make an informed decision for yourself. Yeah, a lot of people get confused with red flag and assume that it means break up. Red flags are just that, something to flag to think about. Some are immediate deal breakers, some you address and move on, and some will only be a problem with more red flags. It's just something to think about, and absolutely none of your friends liking your partner is a red flag. And now, onto the update. So the majority vote was not the asshole, with a few you're the asshole votes sprinkled in. A lot of people were genuinely mad at me for being in that kind of relationship, which didn't make sense, but what can you do? Another thing that I want to address, a lot of people kept saying no means no, and stick with it when you say no. I want to reiterate, that does not work with Jane in these scenarios. She would show up no matter what, or manipulate me into coming home, or giving her the address. I got some good advice and used it to my best ability. I also feel I owe everyone an explanation as to why I was dating Jane. First, my parents were in a very toxic relationship all through my childhood. They despised each other, but refused to divorce or even move out for the benefit of the kids. Clearly that didn't work. Second, Jane's behavior wasn't always so toxic, but once she started to act how my parents did to each other, my dumb brain associated that with love. I know now that that is not the case, but Jane was my first real relationship. The first was a few months that ended with me being cheated on. I sat Jane down and explained that I feel sad by the double standard between her friends and mine. I expressed that I have no idea why she is so possessive and insists on coming to every party. Then she said something that I was not prepared for. I can't trust that you won't go screw anyone whilst out because you're bisexual. She went on to explain that she finds many of my friends attractive and assumed I did too, and so projected her own attraction onto me and became jealous and possessive. She also said there's a 50% extra chance that you'll cheat on me because you swing both ways. I brought up some issues with how she conducts herself, and she began crying and gaslighting me. Actually gaslighting, but I stood my ground. As for why she's so possessive, in her own words, she just is, and does it because she loves me. I was shocked. I needed time to cool down and think, but I made the decision to break up with Jane. I don't want any biphobia in my life. I told her as such, but she did not take it well. As I was calling one of my friends, I noticed all my cash from my purse, around £100, was missing, along with my card, that has since been sorted. She got very angry when I called her out, and I left for my own safety. I'm currently staying at my friend's house. Jane didn't want to leave and it was getting dicey, but I called the cops and they removed her. But I didn't feel safe being home alone after all that. I also apologized to my friend, and she said that it was fine. She was just happy that I'm out of the relationship. This friend is ride or die, as I am for her. I asked if she, my friend, would dump me as a friend if I continued to be with Jane, and she said absolutely not. What kind of asshole friend would I be? Who does that? So yeah, a sort of happy ending, thanks to everyone who gave me good advice. Now in the comments, Jesus, I'm glad you're safe, and have such an awesome friend that you can count on. I am so happy for you that you recognized it was a toxic relationship. I also recommend maybe talking to a friend or therapist about your childhood and relationships. When I got out of a toxic relationship, it really helped me. It made me understand my value, as well as what I should have in a healthy relationship. I believe it may help you grow and hopefully find a healthy relationship to be in. As someone who had crap examples of what love was growing up, I can't recommend this enough. I was in a similar situation, and well, it went down the same way. Forget Jane. No one needs that. I'm so sorry that you had to deal with biphobia from another member of the community, on top of her other toxic behavior. As a fellow bi, it is so disheartening that we still have a hard time being accepted. Not gay enough for the gays, not straight enough for the straights. Being bi, pan, queer, etc. does not mean you're going to be a cheater, or you are confused, or polyamorous, or deceptive. Like, no one immediately assumes these things about one-gender orientations. Congrats on getting out of that relationship, and I wish you the best of luck moving forward and continuing to grow and heal from your past experiences. Your friend sounds like an amazing person, and I'm glad that you have her. Seriously, and then you have the lesbians that think you're basically insane for ever finding a guy attractive or actively hate you for liking men. which I get falls under the not enough for the gays, but it's such a weird subset within it that baffles me. And then the straight people that automatically assume since you're bi, you're into threesomes. Like, please, no. Limbo space in the LGBTQ community is very frustrating at times. Our next post is titled, "Am I the asshole for telling my friends that their pretend date sounds a lot like a real one?" So Hayley and Emily are close friends of mine. They are cool and I introduced them to each other. Hayley is not popular with the guys, and she hasn't gone on any good dates or dated anyone, but Emily is really popular and she always has some boy crushing on her. They like to tease each other about it, and Emily had the idea of taking her out on a date so that she could get a date experience. It was supposed to be playful teasing, but they actually went out, watched the new Spider-Man movie, and made a date out of it. Hayley is pretty happy about it, and we were talking about it over Zoom. She was gushing, and she said it had been great, and Emily had been a great date, and it was cute. I told her it sounded like a real date to me, and she suddenly shut down and said that it wasn't a real date, and I was making crap up and to stay out of it. She then quit the call. I feel like such an asshole for ruining a good moment between them by making that observation. Now in the comments, no assholes here. You made an observation and happened to hit on a sore spot for her. From your story, it's impossible to know whether it's because she's realizing that her feelings for Emily are stronger than she thought they were, or whether it made her feel like she's only worthy of a fake date and she'll never have a real one. But honestly, it doesn't make a difference. You didn't say anything inappropriate, so you aren't the asshole. And Hayley isn't an asshole for having feelings. When you get a chance, you should say that you are sorry and offer to listen to how she's feeling, but don't be surprised if she's not willing to talk about it anytime soon. No assholes here. I think you hit a nerve and embarrassed her, since this seems to be a sensitive area for her. But I don't think you meant to. As long as it was just one comment and you stopped as soon as she was upset, I think you made an innocent mistake. I'd just apologize to her and move on, being careful not to raise things like this in the future unless she initiates the conversation. You're the asshole. Why make a joke about it at her expense? You knew it was a platonic hangout, and now you've made her feel like crap. You already know that you're in the wrong. Why come here to be told what you know? And now onto the update. I made a poor joke, and people had a lot of opinions about it, and in the end, I felt even though I didn't mean to hurt Hayley, I did hurt her, and I needed to apologize. I texted her that I was sorry for hurting her, and I was just joking and I didn't mean to hurt her at all. I told her that I wouldn't bring this up again. She said it was fine and she wasn't really upset about what I had said, and she was figuring things out, but she didn't want to talk about it and things went back to normal. Yesterday, Emily sent me a snap of them together and captioned it, "This one's a real date." I talked to them and they're going out now. This is a really great way to start the new year. And now in the comments, stop, that's adorable. Love that for Hayley. I'd wait a few months before gloating about your laser-precise instincts. Honestly, as soon as I read pretend date in the title, I knew exactly what was going on. A lot of people go on pretend dates when they aren't yet ready to admit their feelings for each other, to themselves or to others, and it seems like you noticed the obvious chemistry between them, but forgot that you're not supposed to say the quiet part out loud. I'm so happy for them that it worked out, and it sounds like next time this happens, you know to let people come to their own realizations in their own time. This is such a beautiful update. It's rare to see people make this realization. Quote, "In the end, I felt even though I didn't mean to hurt Hayley, I did hurt her, and I needed to apologize." Sometimes our words have unintended impacts, and we hurt the ones we love, and apologizing for that impact is a big moment of personal growth. I'm so happy that you had that moment, that your friendship is healed, and that your friend is beginning a new relationship. All the best to you, your friend, and her new girlfriend. Our next post is titled, "Am I the asshole for telling my sister she would have been a terrible mother?" I, 17 male, have two sisters, Alice 29 and Miranda 33. I'm much closer to Alice than I am to Miranda. Miranda is also not on good terms with our parents. Alice has 4 kids and is currently expecting child number 5, while Miranda can't have children, which her ex divorced her for. Miranda is very successful in life. She has a nice apartment, works a good job, and earns a decent amount of money. Alice, on the other hand, is struggling financially. She had her first kid right out of high school and got pregnant with her second child soon after, so she decided to become a stay-at-home mother to her children while her boyfriend provides for them. Me and my parents try to help them out as much as possible, be it childcare or money, whatever she needs. I love my nieces and nephews. I take them to the park and play with the older ones. I really enjoy it. Miranda doesn't help out with them. She says it's because she's too busy. Well, she works long hours, but she doesn't have kids, so I don't know what she does on weekends. She also doesn't help out financially, which I find unfair, since she makes so much money and all she does is spend it on herself, although she does give us very nice gifts for Christmas and birthdays. My parents nag her about it, saying she should give some of her money to Alice monthly, and I agree with that. So here comes the part where I may have been the asshole. I was at Miranda's place last week, as she baked muffins and invited me over to eat some and catch up. We got on the hot topic of Christmas presents, and I told her some of the stuff I wanted. She nodded and said that she would give our parents a coupon for a much-needed vacation and Alice some clothes that she had mentioned, and also some new boots and jackets for her kids. I was a little stunned that she didn't have more for Alice, so I asked, "Why do you only get Alice the bare minimum? You can afford to help out more and you refuse to, out of spite." Miranda looked at me and laughed. She said it wasn't her business to feed 6 people, that Alice was old enough to make her choices and live with the consequences. She knew what she was getting herself into, and that she shouldn't pay Alice's way through life just because she kept having children she couldn't afford. I was stunned at how cold she reacted. I asked her how she could live her life being so selfish and uncaring, and she got angry and told me, "Listen, kid, there are some things that you're way too young for to be discussing with me, and this is one of those things. Drop the subject or get out." I got really frustrated with her and said something I probably shouldn't have. I told her, "No wonder your husband divorced you. Even if you could have children, you'd be a terrible mother." Miranda got very quiet and told me to leave and never come back. She has now blocked me on everything, and though I don't agree with her not helping out, I'm starting to feel guilty for what I said. So am I the asshole? OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the asshole. 1. My wording was extremely harsh, and though I believe that there is some truth behind them, I think I shouldn't have said what I said. And 2, I think I may be the asshole for the comment about her being a bad mother, but I'm unsure. Now in the comments, "You're the asshole. You went way too far with that comment. Shame on you." And Miranda is completely right. It's her money that she earned. She has absolutely no obligation to give her money away if she doesn't want to. You and your family expecting Miranda to give her money to her sister that can't afford her lifestyle is greedy. Yes, your sister Alice kept having kids. It was her choice to keep having them. No one owes your sister anything because of the choices she made, especially her sister. You're the asshole. Your parents are also assholes. Your sister Alice is also an asshole. Just because Miranda can't afford to take care of Alice's children doesn't mean it's her responsibility. Who are you to need to understand what Miranda does on the weekends or what she spends her earnings on? It's not fair? Miranda is right. Alice is old enough to understand how to use condoms. If she's struggling with money at the 3rd kid, then struggling more at the 4th, then why the hell did she get pregnant with a 5th? There is the selfish sibling for you, and it's not Miranda. Wakey wakey. Alice is the one who seems to expect the rest of the world has to provide for the kids that she keeps irresponsibly having. By the way, you were not just cruel for what you said, you are also entitled and childish. You made an active decision to help Alice and her kids. Either you do so selflessly, or you choose to stop, but don't cry about "that's not fair" when someone else makes a different choice than you with their own time and money. You're the asshole. And very condescending as well. Well, she works long hours, but she doesn't have kids, so I don't know what she does on weekends. She also doesn't help out financially, which I find unfair since she makes so much money. On weekends, she probably has a wonderful time doing hobbies, spending time with friends, or just vegging and watching TV. What she's not doing is wiping little noses, changing diapers, listening to temper tantrums, cleaning up messes, or mediating childish spats. Some people enjoy that and some don't. Her life sounds admirable and pleasant. Alice, on the other hand, has 5 kids, no career, isn't even married, and struggles financially. My guess is Miranda doesn't want to waste a lot of her hard-earned money on Alice, who shows no sign of improving her lot in life or becoming stable and independent. And now onto the update. So it's been a while, and I know I haven't answered any comments because I was too ashamed, and I still am. When my parents and sister found out what I said to Miranda, they were absolutely furious. Alice shouted at me so long, my ears were ringing. She looked like she was about to rip my head off. You were right. My sisters had a whole life before I came along, and I was too immature to understand the dynamics between them. When I look at my post, I am disgusted about my tone and what I assumed was the truth, because not only was I an absolute asshole, I was also terribly wrong about a lot of things. Alice never asked for money nor childcare. My parents did that willingly, and as I was raised alongside them, they felt more like siblings to me, so I didn't mind. My family also never painted Miranda as the big villain. That was all just me. Because she was already grown and out of the house most of the time when I was little, I just didn't have a deeper connection with her. Maybe I was resentful that she was never there, I can't tell. My parents also didn't really pester Miranda that she should give money to Alice. They only asked her to chip in for bigger presents, which she always did. I was blinded by my love and concern for Alice that I vilified Miranda. I also apologized 100 times to Miranda. I wrote her letters, tried calling, went to her apartment, but she wouldn't see me or answer my letters, and she is in her right to do so. I hurt her deeply, and she doesn't owe me forgiveness, but the reason I made this update in the first place is some, hopefully, good news for you. Miranda has since moved away with her ex. I don't have the whole picture, but they are still very much in love. When his family found out Miranda was infertile, they pestered them to no end, and their marriage didn't withstand that. It was really horrible, which I never knew. My parents said Miranda didn't want me to know the truth, but now that they are in another country, I hope they can be happy again. Also, please don't hate on Alice. She's a wonderful person and a very good mother to all of her kids. Her third pregnancy were twins, which they didn't expect, and her boyfriend had a vasectomy. But they ended up pregnant regardless with baby number 5, which has been born in the meantime. Her boyfriend also has got a promotion at work, and they can now live more comfortably. I know I'm in the wrong, and that I have a lot of growing to do. I deserve everything you said in the comments. Maybe one day I can have a relationship with Miranda again, but on her terms. If you want to know anything else, let me know. I promise to answer as many comments as I can. And now in the comments, you've learned a hard lesson. Making statements that you've said without seeking out more information can lead to the devastating results you've experienced. This can be something that you'll feel shame over for a long time, but if you do some self-reflection, you can use the results of it to make you more compassionate, kind, and empathetic. I remember gasping when I read your original post because it was so unkind. It sounds like you've learned a very tough lesson. Best wishes to Miranda as she tries to rebuild her romantic relationship. Maybe when you're older, you can rebuild your sibling relationship with her as well. I'm so glad you learned this lesson. As a woman with ovaries that are trying to kill me monthly, and no, not in that way, I was so pissed off with you that when I saw the original, I had to look for an update. I literally wanted to say something terrible to you for saying that the value of your sister was her fertility, maternal status, marital status, and her willingness to fill out checks with the subject line, "My sister had more accident babies." The way you just went and said, "She makes good money, I don't know what she does with her money in her downtime on the weekends, after all she doesn't have kids," was just so jarring. It was like you thought people would only need money to provide for their children, and according to you, if they don't have kids, to provide for other people's children. Then you call her terrible in all walks of life when she tells you it's not her responsibility to provide for others. This was a good lesson learned, but holy crap, the consequences. I'm sorry that she won't forgive you, but you told her she deserved to be alone, didn't deserve kids, and was generally awful and cheap. I hope she can forgive you one day. but believe me, things will be strained. You'll have to stick it out if she reaches out. I really hope she can forgive you, because if not, this will hurt the both of you for a very long time." And OP responds to that, "I honestly agree with you, and I need to accept the consequences. My sister doesn't owe me forgiveness. Looking at my original post, I feel sick, but keeping it up here will hopefully remind me never to say something like this again. I can't erase the past, and hopefully make the right decisions in the future. I do hope I can start over with my sister again one day and learn about her as a person. Thank you for your comment." And that is where I'm going to leave you guys today. I do hope you enjoyed these stories. If you did, let me know what you thought of it down in the comments below. As always, I will see you in the next one. Hope you have a good day, night, sleep, whatever you're up to, and I'll see you then. Bye.